died in the apartment by an accident and we hid her body. Well, when did she have the accident and died? Because the only time she was left unattended was when we were at dinner. So if she died then, how could we have disposed or hidden her body, when there was an immediate threat? It's just nonsense. So
if Kate and Gerry were involved in the disappearance of their daughter, then the big question is, how and when did they carry out the fake abduction? The timeline of the events of the night of the disappearance, as established by the Portuguese police, leaves no room for Kate or Gerry to carry out a fake abduction. It seems that they never had the time to do so. After all, they had dinner with their friends in the restaurant at the resort when Madeleine disappeared. This lack of opportunity has always been an insurmountable problem for the police investigators, resulting in Madeleine's parents never being identified as real suspects. The police knew that Gerry left the table only once, at around 9:10 p.m., to do a child check, of which he returned 10 minutes later and he hadn't gotten up from the table again. Kate arrived together with Gerry at the restaurant around 8:45 and she did not leave the table until approximately 5 minutes past 10, to do a check on her children. This was the child check where she discovered that Madeleine had disappeared. In this episode it will become clear that this timeline isn't necessarily true. In fact, I will make it more than plausible that Gerry was absent from the restaurant for quite some time that evening, creating a window of opportunity for himself to carry out the so-called abduction. During my thorough study of the Portuguese police files, I came across two witnesses who both contradicted Gerry's presence in the restaurant on May 3rd. These witnesses shed a very different light on the timeline of events as we know them. In fact, these witnesses seem to hold the key to solving the case. Their names are Svetlana Starikova-Vitorino and Joaquim Moreira Baptista. They both worked at the tapas restaurant and were on duty on May 3rd. Independently of each other and in their own words, they both have stated to the police, already the first day after the disappearance, that Gerry was absent from the table for about 30 minutes that fateful night. According to these two witnesses, who had no reason to lie, Gerry was not at the table in the restaurant between approximately 9:30 and 10 o'clock. This is the crucial time period in which Madeleine disappeared. For the first time in so many years it becomes clear that it was totally unjustified that Gerry's presence in the restaurant that evening was never doubted. The statements of Vitorino and Baptista leave no room for speculation. They know what they've observed, and they've told the police about it. To demonstrate how powerful the statements of Vitorino and Baptista really are, I have to take you back to the statements of the Smith family from Ireland. The adult members of this group told the police that on the night of the disappearance, they saw a man that looked like Gerry McCann, somewhere downtown Praia da Luz, with a little blonde girl on his arm who appeared to be asleep. The time, around 9:45 p.m. As becomes clear from this timeline, it is suddenly very possible that the Smiths have indeed seen Gerry, downtown Praia da Luz, on the night of the disappearance. I think I'm not exaggerating when I say this is a promising timeline that definitely should have been explored. Unfortunately, this did not happen. In any case, there is no evidence in the police files that the detectives investigated these potentially critical statements. It appears that they have completely overlooked the statements of Vitorino and Baptista. This bold claim seems to be confirmed in the letter of the 21st of July 2008 to the Attorney General, with the final analysis of the case by the Portuguese police. As for the Smiths' statements and the time they saw the man who looked like Gerry with the little girl on his arm, this analysis reads that, and I quote, "At this time Gerald's presence at the restaurant was confirmed by his friends and has not been denied by restaurant employees." End quote. There can be only one conclusion. This part of the final report is incorrect. As we now know, there were in fact two restaurant employees who had denied that. It's hard to believe that such a big mistake was made, but it happened anyway. The consequences of this are enormous and far-reaching. Because it closed an avenue of investigation into Gerry's activities and whereabouts that night. That may have been a crucial error.